Before we get into the video, I just want to give a big thank you to my new viewers and subscribers. You guys are amazing. I love you guys so much. Thank you for clicking on the video. Hope you watch it all the way through with that. Please enjoy my thoughts on Review 4, the Battlefield 6 multiplayer. To start off, I grew up playing Battlefield 3 and 4. I played a little bit of Bad Company 2 later on, but not quite as much as I probably should have. Very fun game. Also a very fun campaign. I loved Battlefield because of its scale, right? The sheer amount of chaos and fun that you could have in these games. And while I don't think Battlefield 6 has that scale quite yet in terms of its maps, it definitely does have that chaotic and like only in Battlefield moments that you can do, right? And that you can only really experience in Battlefield, in my opinion. Strapping C4 to a drone, strapping C4 to a bike or whatever, like stuff like that as an example, right? Those things you can do here, and me and my friends do that all night back in the day. And we did it a few times here too, and I don't know, Battlefield just has a way of just bringing people together, because at the end of the day, it's not a sweaty, competitive shooter like Call of Duty. It's more of a casual, laid-back, slower, more methodical gameplay experience. It's still fast, don't get me wrong, but it is a lot more user-friendly and casual, in my opinion. And that's what makes it so much more fun. There isn't as much pressure to perform well as long as you perform your specific role in your team. But I digress. Let's move on. I think the UI is pretty bad. It mirrors what Call of Duty does a lot with like this Hulu looking, boggin bookin looking crazy whatever it is. Like I don't even know what to call this, but it's essentially it's very uninspired and very annoying to use, very not user friendly, which UI should be. I'm no UI artist, but this is like a pin to navigate. It's hard to find stuff. Like, if I want to play Breakthrough, I have to go all the way to the back of the multiplayer section or whatever. And if I want to find Team Deathmatch, I can't. I gotta go look for custom search wherever that is, right? And it's truly annoying, right? They really need to fix this UI and for an easier user experience, because like, I don't know, just for me, right? The most popular stuff that people are gonna be playing should be at the top. But it's not. It's like in the middle. Like what is this, right? Hopefully, they make changes to this UI and listen to community feedback, like what I'm saying here, and make it more user-friendly. Have the most important stuff at the top and like other stuff at the bottom. With that being said, let's talk about the classes next. When it comes to the classes, you have 4 options essentially, right? You have the Assault, who's pretty much like a breacher of the team. They'll help push the point. They'll put down beacons. They'll do some grenade launchers, they'll break through walls, right? And essentially they'll help the team push the objectives, right? And just overall, they'd be the ones getting most of the kills in a perfect universe in the game, right? You got yourself the Engineer. Primarily an anti-armor, anti-vehicle class, primarily focusing on taking out tanks, enemy vehicles, and helicopters, right? They can provide some support, but they're really there to take out and also repair the tanks as well, I forgot to mention. They're kind of like another support class, but mainly for vehicles. And also anti-vehicles. My personal favorite support would primarily just be supporting your team, right? Refilling ammo, reviving, putting down smokes, stuff like that to support your team. Mostly be putting down suppressive fire, stuff like that to help your team push and keep your team stocked up on all their important supplies. And lastly, the recon, sniper of the team. Their primary goal would just be to point out where enemies are on the map. They'll use their drone, maybe set up traps with their claymores, stuff like that. Very simple class, but honestly one of the best out there. And for me personally, my favorite class is the support. I just love supporting my team, putting down ammo crates, reviving people, because, I don't know, I just find the support class to be so much fun. I love the LMGs. And that goes into another side note. In classic Battlefield, right? I feel super saying classic, but each class will be tied to a specific weapon. I can't recall what weapons each class use because it depends on which battlefields you play, but in this one, assaults primarily use assault rifles, recon use sniper rifles, support use LMGs, and engineers use SMGs. And each class has a little bonus associated with that set of weapon, so if you use their class-specific weapon, you'll get some bonuses for it. I think, for example, the Engineer gets better hipfire accuracy when using SMGs, and the Recon has better accuracy when it comes to using sniper rifles. So at the end of the day, this is, in fact, a team-based game. You're not meant to be the solo hero. You're not meant to be the lone wolf, right? Meant to play a role in your team, in your squad, and do that role well. And if you do your role well, your team will win. It's less about skill and more about playing your part in a bigger picture, a bigger battle. That's what I like. That's why I like Battlefield so much. But you know what Battlefield's really known for? It's maps. So let's talk about the maps next. While I don't think there are necessarily any bad maps in the game per se, I am not disappointed, but hoping that we get larger maps in the future, because frankly, these maps are pretty small compared to previous games' maps. Battlefield is known for its large-scale maps because vehicles are a very important part of this game. And a lot of the maps in this game, granted, I'm not really a vehicle person. My friend is, so this is their take on it. These are their words, right? The maps are too small, and there isn't a lot of enough breathing room in some of these maps for vehicles to really play well. For example, Cairo. That map is very tight and compact, so there's not really a lot of places a vehicle could go. It's a very linear map for vehicles, and for Battlefield, that doesn't feel very good. There are some exceptions, like Liberation Peak is probably a good example of what a map could be for vehicles, but he said it himself, it's still small. Like, we need bigger maps, larger maps, and with the arrival of Season 1, we did get a new map called Blackwell Fields, and it is a good map for vehicles, but it still is a little small. I have seen some stuff online about the map being horrible, but I think it's overhated just a little bit. Is it the best map in Battlefield? No, but I don't think it's the worst either. Yeah, we need larger maps, but the variety of maps is pretty good. If each map has its own unique style and identity, and that's pretty good. I just wish they were a little bit bigger, and it'd feel a lot more like Battlefield, less like Call of Duty in a lot of ways. Another issue, maybe not an issue, but a critique I have with the game is progression. At launch, the progression was very slow and very sluggish, so people were abusing XP farms in Portal, which we'll talk about later, Portal. Even, they made some changes to make the grind a bit better. For example, like the first 20 levels of your weapon are easier to level up, so that's a plus, right? But it is still hard to level up weapons past level 20, because especially if you want camos, some of these camos require you to get certain weapons to level 30, 40, and that's a very long grind, especially when maps usually take, usually take about 20 to 30 minutes to complete, and it feels very slow, and intentionally slow, if that makes sense. Especially when it comes to the actual battle pass that has been introduced with Season 1. So it's not like most battle passes where you just get XP and that can levels up a bar, right? You have to get XP to earn points, which then go into the battle pass, and it takes 10 points to get one level, right? And on average, you'll probably get like 2 to 3 points per game, at least I do. It really just depends on how well you perform and how much XP you get. Of course, challenges also play a role into that, but I'll talk about challenges later when I talk about the Battle Royale. Circling back to progression being intentionally slow, it's probably the reason why they opted to make it to where you can buy Battle Pass tiers, and also maybe at some point even buy XP boosts, right? Which is a little scummy in my opinion. Like, you artificially slowing progression, so people are pressured to want to buy stuff in order to make the progression less grindy is kind of scummy, but in this industry, I'm not really surprised by it anymore, but I digress. So, progression is slow. It's, at a certain point, it's good, because, like, I don't want to unlock everything all at once, right? I want to be spread out, but it's not quite that golden spot for me. It feels just a little too grindy still. It'd be nice if you could just get battle pass points per gameplay, like you're guaranteed 3 points per game or whatever. It'd be nice, but sometimes you get 1, sometimes you get 3, sometimes you get none, and it can feel a little discouraging to play the game. And you know, like, it's gonna take me 3 games, 4 games, 5 games just to get 1 battle pass level, or even just 1 point sometimes, right? But I digress. What I was looking forward to the most was Portal. I should say modes, right? But just the introduction of them using Godot, help creators make these maps and, like, even add their own code and stuff just seemed really cool, and that, like, I'm sure cool stuff will come, but I think Portal needs a little bit of, at least the UI portion of Portal needs to be reworked, right? The first thing I want to say is, like, if I like an experience or a game mode, right, I wish I could favorite that experience, so that way it's easier to find it later. As of right now, I have to like use the Steam Notes feature in order to like write down codes of modes that I really liked, just so I don't lose them, because like people can copy modes and it's really hard to find the mode you're looking for, especially if it's really popular, like hardcore conquest, hardcore rush, all that sort of stuff, right? And people just keep making copies and it's hard to find the original one that you played, right? They also sort of neuter Portal, understandably so, right? Because people were abusing it to farm XP against bots, but a lot of those modes that I was playing that had full XP, like it was a mixture of real people and bots, but like these really crazy modes like zombies and stuff, right? Used to give you full XP, but now they don't, which is kind of sad, especially weapon XP. And that all leads back to progression, right? Because so many people were using XP farms where you couldn't even use Portal week 1 of launch, right? And I think that clearly showed that people did not like the progression and how slow it was, right? While they did kind of fix it, it's still a problem. And with them neutering XP gains in Portal, a lot of people are pretty upset over it. Me, I'm just sort of indifferent on it. I don't really care, but not having that, like, incentive to play Portal for XP, like, why would you even want to play Portal, right? If I'm not going to level up my battle pass, which is already really slow to unlock, right, then why would I ever want to play Portal? I really don't get anything from it in terms of progression, but I digress. And probably the most controversial mode in Battlefield is its Battle Royale. I played a few matches of it, so I didn't record any of it, but I played about 5 hours of it, give or take an hour, but it's fine. I'm not really the biggest fan of Battle Royales, so it didn't really wow me in really any way. I did play Warzone back in the day, and it just sort of felt like that, just with Battlefield 6 destruction and vehicles on the map. And I have seen some complaints that they spent all this time working on this Battle Royale and its map that they probably sort of neglected the maps in the main multiplayer side of things. Like, we're getting a new map later on in Season 1 sometime in November that is a golf course as a part of the Battle Royale map. And I'm hoping that they bring other sections of that map into the main multiplayer, right? I'm not going to really give an opinion on too much of an opinion on the Battle Royale. It's alright for what I played. It's nothing too special. It just feels very generic, just with some destruction, and that's really about it when it comes to it. And circling back to the challenges, like I said, like, the Season 1 weekly challenges are mostly tied to playing the Battle Royale, so they do really want you to play it. And looks of it, you get like a lot of points for doing these challenges, right? And yeah, I don't think there's any way to re-roll it. Okay, quick editor note here. You can re-roll it. I just found it out. You can re-roll some challenges. I don't know if they just added this or not, or if I'm just blind, but yeah, they can add stuff. In summary, from all the stuff I've said, right, I think Battlefield 6 is fantastic. It's an amazing return to form, especially from the previous failure that was 2042, which I did do a review for on my channel, as well as the Battlefield 6 campaign. So if you watch this far, please check it out and subscribe. But Battlefield 6 is a very safe game, but I feel like that's what Battlefield needed most at this time. They didn't need to reinvent the wheel. Just give the gamers, right, what they wanted, and they did that. Multiplayer is fun. I'm having a blast. I haven't put this much time into a game like this since Call of Duty 2019, and that's a lot of praise coming from me. I think Battlefield 6 is an easy recommend for its price, especially if you love these kinds of games. It's truly an amazing time, and you'll have fun with it. You might get dunked on here and there, but don't let that get you down. Don't focus on getting kills or being like the lone wolf. Just focus on playing your role in the game, whether it be support or assault, and just have fun. Talk to people, connect with people, and with that, hope you guys enjoyed my review on Battlefield 6 multiplayer. And with that, see you guys next time. Peace out.